So, the big question hanging in the air right now is this. With version 2.6 in the rearview mirror and the banners for version 2.7 now fully confirmed, are these new characters really worth the Astrites? Because let's be honest, nobody wants to dump their hard-earned currency into a shiny new unit only to realize later they don't actually fit into the strongest teams. That's why today, we're digging deep into the synergies and the long-term values of Galbrena and Qiuyuan. By the end of this, you'll know exactly whether to pull or to skip. Yo, welcome back to the channel. Kamusta po sa inyong lahat?
Assemble.
Phase 1 of version 2.8 brings Galbrena alongside Lupa, giving you unique entry routes into monofusion. Phase 2 follows with Qiuyuan alongside Zani, both of whom lean heavily on heavy attack damage, with Qiuyuan leaning even more heavily on echo skill damage for his biggest damage output. But here's something that gets overlooked far too often. Echo skill damage and heavy attack damage are calculated completely separately. That means any bonus that says it enhances heavy attacks will not help echo skills in the slightest unless if otherwise specified, even though they make up the majority of Galbrena's total damage. This small technicality flips the script on which supports are truly worth pairing with her. So, while it is tempting to just say throw in Yuno and Qiuyuan alongside Galbrena, you have to consider that some micromanaging might be needed in order to fully make this work. You see, Galbrena does rely on heavy attack damage in most of her skills, but it only provides less than half of her overall damage, roughly around 30%. Her biggest single damage will come from her Resonance Liberation, which will go north of 1000% at max level. And while her forte circuit is split between heavy attack and echo skill damage, echo skill takes the more heavy hitting parts. This means that while heavy attack dominates in the number of skills it covers, echo skill damage covers the more explosive ones. So you have to decide where you want to put your investments. Do you want to be a soft power player with heavy attack damage buffs? Or do you want to be a hard power player with echo skills? If you take the soft power play route, you will need more heavy attack damage buffs, obviously. The 4-star Battle Pass weapon, for example, Solar Flare, has up to 28% in heavy attack buffs. But while heavy attack increases your normal's first 2 hits and your forte's first 2 hits and your entire resonance skill, these deal minor damage overall. But if you take the hard power play route, you will be sacrificing your normal attack's first 2 hits and your forte's first 2 hit and your resonance skill for more explosive bursts of damage from your liberation and the more heavy hitting parts of your forte circuit. Sadly, no other weapons are available right now that will increase echo skill for Galbrena except for her signature, Lux and Umbra. And this is where Qiuyuan comes in, because not only will he grant a massive 50% echo skill buff during his outro to the incoming Resonator, he also has a gift of 30% echo skill buffs during his forte circuit. That's now an additional 80% echo skill buff for Galbrena. Add the effects of Lux and Umbra, we now get 100% echo skill buffs. That's 100% on top of your liberation multipliers. The closest to that liberation is Jianshin at a dismal 38%, Yinlin and Frolova at 25%, although Frolova deals more coordinated damage, mind you. And then Changli at 25% as well, although Changli also provides 20% fusion buffs. As for other buffs that could actually work, Shorekeeper's 25% crit damage or Verina's 15% damage amplification sounds good as well. And then you have Lupa, whose pack hunt incentivizes monofusion comps by granting attack buffs and fusion buffs that stack up depending on the enemies or the enemy types. So why am I saying this? Because it appears that Yuno or Mortifi or any heavy attack buffer might not actually necessarily be the most optimal for Galbrena. To make this team work, you will need to micromanage Galbrena's entire kit and sacrifice some in favor of others. Like I said, Her normals and forte circuit are split between echo and heavy. To make a quick swap work, you will need to split up Galbrena's rotation. Yuno will buff her normal attacks and her resonance skill, and Qiuyuan will buff her resonance liberation and forte circuit. Thus, with monofusion, you have two routes. Get Lupa and pair Galbrena with her and Changli or Brant. Changli will boost Galbrena's fusion and liberation for the hard power play, while Brant will boost fusion and resonance skill for the soft power play. But you do get more damage out of Brant. You could also skip Lupa and go for Galbrena, Changli, and Brant. Because although Brant doesn't get any buffs out of Galbrena, the synergy of their outro skills is actually amazing. Brant to Changli to Galbrena. Brant provides Changli with the resonance skill. Changli provides Galbrena with the resonance liberation damage boost. And if you decide to pair Galbrena with Qiuyuan, your best bet for stability is to bring in a sustain-oriented unit like Shorekeeper or Verena. Shorekeeper's crit damage buff combined with her healing makes the team more resilient against endgame pressure, while Verena's damage amplification plus healing gives the lineup a safety net without compromising overall DPS. This approach creates a more balanced and forgiving composition, allowing you to enjoy the explosive potential of Galbrena and Qiuyuan without constantly worrying about survival. As for Qiuyuan, outside of Galbrena and Prolova, his value drops significantly. His crit buffs are nice on paper, but his echo skill buffs don't help the majority of other characters in the roster. His damage numbers, even post-buff, are not that high to justify bringing him in as a sub-DPS in unrelated teams. This makes Qiuyuan a conditional pick. Excellent if you already have Galbrena or Prolova, practically skippable if you don't. So where does that leave us in terms of the overall value? Galbrena is undeniably one of the strongest DPS options that is coming out, comfortably on par with Cartethyia and Augusta. The catch is that she's more restricted. Augusta thrives in free-to-play friendly setups and Cartethyia's damage stays consistent thanks to Shakona. Galbrena, in contrast, shines brightest only when paired with premium teammates. If you already have established carries like Augusta, Cartethyia, or even Sunny, pulling for Galbrena is more about diversifying your account than chasing a must-have. She isn't shaking the meta the way Cartethyia did when she dropped, but she is opening up more high-level options, especially for fusion comps. And with version 2.8 potentially bringing back Cartethyia, plus the introduction of Chisa, who is rumored to be a Havoc and possibly bring a completely new set of mechanics, the competition for your Astrites is only getting tougher. If you're patient, you might even want to hold out for version 3.0 when we get access to the new region and whatever new systems it brings with it. Because if history is any indication, that patch is going to be stacked. So, what's your move? Are you pulling for Galbrena, gambling on Qiuyuan, or saving everything for Chisa and beyond? Let me know in the comments because I would love to hear your plans. If this video resonated with you, please leave it a like for added attack, subscribe for fusion damage, and ring the bell for crit damage. Thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po, and I will see you in the next video drop. Goodbye.